Hey everybody, Steven here, and today I'm looking at the Pathway Lights from Lumary. Now I've reviewed a handful of their products in the past. I really like this brand. I like the app and the functions that has. And with this one, this was an opportunity to change up the outside lights that I currently have. They're floodlights and they're just a little too bright. And so with these, I have the huge array of options that the app has, but I also have just something that isn't quite as bright. Looking at the specs here, this is the L-PL56A1. Input voltage is 100 to 240 volts AC at 60 Hertz. They have 6 pieces here. This is RGB with AI plus tunable white. The operating temperature is -20 degrees Celsius to 45 degrees Celsius. The IP rating here is 65, so this is waterproof. The beam angle is 270 degrees, and the rated life is 15,000 hours. The manual here answers a lot of various questions in the back too. If you have questions in regards to how many of these you can connect together, how many people can have access to the app, etc. I do like the stakes that this comes with. They are heavy duty metal. It may be aluminum, but with this, it's not flimsy. I've used some in the past that are very thin, and because they're very thin, they bend over time. Not a big fan of that. These are heavy duty. Inside of the box, you have the lights, you have the power adapter, and then this switch right here is how you can turn the lights on and off, but it's also if you long press it, this is how it's going to prompt the network connection here, so the lights will flash, and then you can connect it to Wi-Fi, which you need Wi-Fi in order to utilize this, or you can actually pair this to a secondary phone as long as it can be used as a hotspot, and that is covered in the manual as well. Looking at the material here, this is a metal casing. On the bottom, you will find the area that you can screw in the stake, and then you see the wires coming out of the bottom. The top you can actually screw off as well, and then that will show the LED lights underneath. I will showcase that in a little bit. But these are all daisy chained together, and then the total reach of all of these is 56 feet according to the box, but then on the listing here it says 60 feet. Regardless, this is a long reach with all of these strung together. This is saying it is 6.5 feet from the adapter to the waterproof control box, and then from there it's 10.8 feet from the control box to the first light, and then there's 8.5 to 6 feet is I believe what this is saying here between each light aluminum body or the stakes themselves. The lights are roughly a foot tall, and then the stake is roughly half a foot in length. For this, I ended up connecting everything before I took it outside. Again, these all daisy chained together. So I did the AC plug-in here to the control box, and then you just systematically go through all the lights. The very last light will not have a cable that goes from it. That's how you know. It only has one cable to connect to. It doesn't have another one that chains out of it, and that will be the last light. So do make sure that you do that as the last one, so you're not trying to go back and correct this down the road. And all of these have a really tight, good seal to them, so it doesn't feel like it's going to get water in it at all. This is me just screwing in one of the stakes, so easy to do. Again, the stakes themselves feel really solid here, which I like. After that, I took these outside and set it up. Setup was really quick and easy. Just undo everything and then line them up however you want. Just make sure it's the spacing that you want, and then after that, you're good to go. So that process was pretty easy to do. The hardest part here was actually just taking off the ties that keep the cables all together. And then once you have that undone, you just go put these wherever you want, and then you are ready to actually set these up. And the setup here was easy to do. As long as you are connected to Wi-Fi, you're just going to open up the Lumary app, you're going to add a device, and then this automatically pulls up for you because the discovery mode is on. After that, you click on add that device. It takes about a minute, and then it is set up, and that is it. It is good to go. So after this, you confirm the amount of lights in case you are connecting a bunch of these together, and then after that, you are ready to use this. Next, I did want to showcase just screwing off the top here to showcase the LED lights underneath. Again, simple, easy to do, and I imagine this would be easy to replace if you needed to. So now I'm going to showcase me using the app here, and with this, the first thing when you pull this up, you have the just white color temperature that you get to adjust and change, and the brightness levels. So you're just watching me pull this on the actual palette itself, and then it goes to any of the various color temperatures, and then again you can change the brightness and then leave it at that as that set color temperature and brightness that you would have this just sit at. After that, you have the color tab, and you again have this huge color palette that you get to just choose any of these various colors and the brightness levels with that. So this is one of the main draws, in my opinion, to these lights, as it's just, one, it's easy to use. The app is incredibly easy to use, but it has a ton of customization here that you get to choose from. And this is great if you're having parties, I like to celebrate Halloween and Christmas. It's very big at my house, so this is something where I get to utilize this for that holiday, which is great. And then here you get to also change the individual lights. So you have the 6 lights if you click on them. So we had the paint bucket at the top on the right hand side. Next is draw, and then you can erase, which is erase is turn off. But with this, you get to just do all of them at once or choose individually what you want these to be. And now you're seeing me erase these. So it's just slowly turning all of these off. Next, we have scenarios that you can actually adjust this with. For whatever reason, this is set to, I believe, Chinese as the language. I couldn't figure out how to actually change this because my regular can lights that I use that are Lumary in the house, they don't have this by default. I couldn't figure out how to change that. Now, once I adjust it, you can rename it. But with this is essentially jumping, right? These lights are jumping from one color to another. As you click on these, you'll notice that there's a heart. This is where you want to favorite that particular scene. And then next to that, you have the 3 dots. If you click on that, you can customize these. And this is where, again, you get to rename these. So if this is set to a different language, you could always change it to name it whatever you want. But here I'm just showcasing the various options that you have here. You get to change these and tweak these and speed these up, and I will showcase that here in a second. So in a sense, you get to kind of create your own variation of that and create a new scene, which is really cool. Other than that, it's kind of just these handful that are there by default. It's really them expecting you to customize these to your liking so that you get more variation in regards to the different scenes. Now by default though, this only has the 6 scenes, but once you actually click on the 3 dots and you're going to customize this, so with this one, we're going to change the speed. You have to click preview on this in order to actually see it in real time. Otherwise, nothing's going to happen. So now we've seen that I've sped this up to 100% speed for the flashing here. Again, you could slow this down. On this one, I get to add more colors. I get to change it over to the white color palette. So if I wanted really no color at all, but just to deal in the color temperature, I could do that. You could erase all of these. This is where, again, the customization comes into play. And then now we get to rename this. And then I just named this jumping because to me, this is what this is doing. This is just a jumping color variation on the lights here. And then that's now that top one. So again, you could customize all of these if you wanted to. After that, we have the music rhythm. So on the rhythm here, this, and actually it's for all of these, it's picking up on the music that you're playing on the phone. And then the color and how it operates and all of that is kind of specific to the different version that you're using. So we have rhythm here. This has its own kind of color palette and how it's going to adapt to the song. And then you have game after that, and then romantic. So the color palettes change with this, and then how they're responding to that actual music. Like this one just kind of stays on and then it flashes. The other one, it was more like on the beat it would flash. It was always dark in between. And again, the colors here are more specific to the different versions that we have. You can't change this. That's the one thing I wish you could do, right? Romantic is here, just a color palette. It's more like red and purple. Game had a little bit of green, rhythm had a little bit of blue in it. So you can't adjust this. That's kind of a bummer. I do wish you could do that. Maybe down the road through an update, we could actually get that. Moving on though, you have the schedule or the plan. And here you can set a countdown, you can set a timer. And with this, when you're setting this timer, it's really, what are you telling the light to do, right? You want the switch to turn the light on, or you want it to turn the light off. It's it executing a scene. What is it doing? With this, I've noticed that, again, it's not going to just turn it on to the particular light. So if I wanted it to just be a color temperature, it doesn't do that. It wants the action plan. I wish this was cleaned up just a little bit more to be a little bit more user friendly, because outside of that, just setting the timer itself is easy. It's just not letting me set it to a regular color temperature. I have to essentially make a scene, tell it what I want that scene to be. And with that, you could set the color temperature to, let's say, like a warm white, and then you would make it so it's not doing any type of effect. So it's not jumping. The speed on that would essentially be 0. And that's how you're going to execute that, which again, I wish there was an easier way to actually go about doing that, but that's the roundabout way that you get it done. Now after that, in the upper right hand corner, you have the little icon that is showing you like a pen. It looks like it's writing. That's going to bring you to the device settings here. And with this, you can do Amazon Alexa and Google, so you can do voice commands. You can create a group with this. So there's all these different options in here. Update the device, change the name itself. So that's some of the background information if you wanted to mess with that. I don't typically do the Amazon Alexa or the Google Assistant on these products, but it is there. I do like that it is there. It's just not something I personally use. Creating a group if you wanted to use that. It does have the user guide. Checking the network status. If you need to, again, update this, it's all right there and easy to actually get access to. Now this is just me turning off the device to just showcase the fact that you can at the bottom there. Again, these are the icons that you have, but you also have quick access to a lot of these different things. So this is the main portion of the app. You can see my other Lumary Smart Recessed Lights. If you just click on the down arrow, again, these are the quick functions. I can just quickly access color temperature, brightness. I could set a timer. It just makes it easy in dealing with that on the fly. Now the rest of the video is me just covering things I've already showcased early on, and I'm gonna finish out the video here, talk about the price. Right now this is advertised on Amazon for $199. It does have a coupon, so a lot of times these products do have discount codes or coupons on them, and with this, I think for $200, it's a solid price point. I think down the road, we're going to see that price point probably come down, but this is a newly launched product here. And if you do need RGB pathway lights, I think this is a great option for you. The app itself has a ton of different controls that you can adjust these things to your liking, which is great. And then the one that's advertised on Amazon, I did not get this in my box. It actually says that there's a remote with that one. So mine didn't come with one. I don't get to showcase that one, but the one that I'm going to have a link for in the description, it comes with a remote, which could make this even easier, which is great. So overall, I am extremely happy with these lights. I like these better than the floodlights that I had on the side of the house. That's going to wrap this video up. So I'll have a link for this in the description, as well as the other Lumary products that I have in my house currently, and I'll have links for those videos at the end of this one as well. But if you like the video, hit the like button for me. If you want to continue to follow along with all my content, hit the subscribe button for me. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.